Hello everyone, this is Vincent. Welcome to the second video. This particular video will be focusing on the stock language. As we all know, there are different languages that help us to communicate with one another. And likewise, in the investment world, we have the stock language. And what this means is the technical jargons or the technical terminologies related to stock investment. And as you all know, it's going to be very tough for beginners to learn everything one shot. So I'll be breaking this particular video into two parts. And this is the first part of the stock language. So without further ado, let me share my screen and we'll zoom straight in. If you're worried that it may take a while for you to familiarize, that's perfectly normal. This is because, as of all languages, you cannot expect to learn every language at one go. Or to put it another way, you cannot expect to learn a new language over a day or two. It takes a couple of weeks, months, and maybe even years to perfect and hone this particular skill. As such, do not expect yourself to learn everything within 2 days. And that is why we actually have monthly gatherings and booster sessions to help you to transit into the investment world. And let's jump straight into the stock language, which is speaking the investor language. The objective for this particular video is about understanding the different languages. Nope, that's just a joke. But rather to help you to understand the investing jargons and terminology like I've mentioned earlier. And if you have watched this movie called Despicable Me or Despicable Me 2, you have known these characters called minions. And for them, they too have their own language. And likewise, when it comes down to the investment world, we have our own investing language as well. So let's take a look at some of the technical jargons that we commonly use. Stock exchange, index, ticker symbol, volume, liquidity, sector, industry, and market capitalization. Of course, if I were to go through it, each one of them on this particular slide, it's only a matter of time before you start to zone out. So I've included a companion for you. And this companion's name is called Tin. He'll be accompanying you through this entire journey. He is firstly skinny, as you can see, a little underweight, but he is a stock analyst and his nickname is Tin Man. So let's go to our first term, stocks. So what exactly are stocks? Basically, a company will get listed, and this is when a company goes listed, they are selling a portion of their company for money. And this is where we as investors will part our hard-earned money to buy a portion of their company. And each stock represents a small percentage of the company. For instance, if this company is worth $100 million and they have 100 million shares, each share will be worth $1. So in short, a stock means a certain percentage of the company. As such, when we buy a stock, we own a percentage of the company. Hence, we are owners of that particular company. You can see it from another way. Have you ever bought books from Amazon before? Or have you bought Starbucks coffee before? How about surfing social media platforms like Facebook or Twitter? If you have ever engaged any of their services or bought any of their products, then I would say a very big thank you to you. Why do I say that? Because when you buy products from them or when you engage their service, this is where the company will make money, and this is where the company makes money. We as investors would make money as well, because at the end of the day, we are owners of the company. Even though we may not be the venture capitalists that help the company to get started, we may not be the founders of the company, but because when you buy their stocks, we are actually owning a certain percentage of that particular company. Henceforth, we are actually owners of the company. The next term is stock exchange. This is basically where the stocks are listed. And as you can see from here, there are charts, there are many things involved in the stock exchange. And most of the time, people scrutinize the prices on the stock exchange. Basically, the stock exchange has different types. For example, NASDAQ, which is in the US. NASDAQ is the location or the place where most of the big IT companies love to get listed on. New York Stock Exchange, as the name suggests, is listed in US or situated in New York, and Singapore Stock Exchange is situated in Singapore. And this is where companies are listed, and this is how we can find out the respective prices of the individual stocks that we want to invest in. Next term is called sector. It's basically a grouping of similar products or services. Say, for example, when you see this, the first thing that comes to mind is a bull. However, a bigger category to call it would actually be an animal. It's not a plant, but an animal. When you have more of it, then this is where you call to have a group of bulls. And of course, when there's more, you form a sector. So in Singapore, there are a total of 14 sectors, and whereas US, there's a total of 4 sectors. However, you do not need to be bogged down by the numbers. This is just additional information for yourself. Sectors help us to understand the operations of the company. Of course, if you want to have a detailed explanation of what the company is doing and how they are making their money, it will be better and wiser to take a look at the company's annual report or the company's website to help ourselves familiarize with what the company is doing. If we want to have a quick overview of what the company is doing, sector will be a quick advantage because it will give us a helicopter view of what the company is doing. After all, it's the grouping of similar products or services in one area. Next up is industry. Basically, it's the smaller classification or the smaller grouping within the sector. We're going to use back the example of the bull. So say we use the bull, there are actually different portions of the bull, or different parts of the bull rather. And as such, we often come across this term that says industry players. And what it simply means is the competitors of the company that we want to invest in. Hence, industry help us to know who their competitors are. And this is especially crucial because at the end of the day, we want to invest in a company that will be able to lead their competitors and more importantly, survive, sustain, and always be the first within this particular industry. Henceforth, it is pertinent that we as investors know if we are investing in one of the market leaders, or should I say the industry leaders, for our investments, because we want to have our investments growing at the rate where we like to see it. And this is where by investing in industry leaders, it will help us to be able to grow our wealth in shorter period of time. And remember, I told you that this entire journey is going to be boring if I'm the only one talking. Hence, I've invited Tin to join in the journey. And Tin today decided to go to the market to have his lunch. And this market, you can see it as a stock exchange. Remember, at the end of the day, stock exchange is where companies are listed. Henceforth, you can see a normal market like a stock exchange, just that they do not sell food, but they sell stocks and shares. And within the market, there are definitely many different cuisines, especially in Singapore. We have things like Western, Japanese, Thai, Korean. And in this particular case, it is like different sectors of the market or the different sectors of the stock exchange. And if let's say today Tin decided to go with the Western cuisine to have pancake, and this is where it's similar to industry. Remember that industry is a smaller classification of the sectors. And last but not least, in order for Tin to get a pancake, he needs to approach a specific store to buy from. And this is where it represents the stocks that we'll be buying or selling from the market. Do you notice that sometimes there will be sale going on at the particular store? And likewise, sometimes when we want to purchase our stocks, we can buy it at a discount. What do I mean by discount? We can do our own intrinsic calculations, which you'll be learning in the bootcamp itself, how to do intrinsic calculations. And this is where when we spot an opportunity or a discount, we can actually buy the stock at a much cheaper price. And likewise, there'll be times when a particular store would run out of stock because probably they may be closing down, probably they do not have the necessary ingredients to bake or build our food. Hence, there'll be times where we will not be able to buy stocks or sell our stocks in the stock market. And how do we know whether we can buy or sell stocks? We can actually take note of the next technical term, which I'll be sharing with you in the part 2 of the videos. So do take some time, familiarize yourself with the different technical terms. And perhaps let me wrap up again the different technical terms. Stock exchange is where the company or where the stocks are being listed on. This is the place where all of us as investors would go to this particular place to find out what are the prices of the stocks. Sectors represents the grouping of similar products or services in one specific area. So likewise, it's very similar to cuisines, where we have Western cuisine, we have Jap cuisine, Thai cuisine, etc. And industry is just a smaller classifications of a particular sector. And stock represents a certain percentage of the company. When we buy a stock, we are effectively an owner of that particular company. All right, so that's all for the very first video. I hope that you take some good notes, and probably if you have any doubts with regards to any technical terms, feel free to stop, pause, and review again. And if you find that you still do not understand, do ask your questions during the bootcamp. And do remember to watch part 2 of the video to ensure that you have learned all the necessary basic terms so that when you come to the bootcamp, it'll be easier for you to acquire the necessary skills for investment. So stay tuned for part 2 of the video.